Did you ever kind of think maybe I backed the wrong horse here, but were you always did you always feel that was the right way?
I never once doubted the fact that Dr. King and where he took the movement, and he didn't do it alone, incidentally. He had a table filled with thinkers, men and women, old and young. And when he held a conference to find strategy, he called on all those minds, and all those minds came to conclusions that he drew from. He was very connected with the people. In that context, we feared very little. We were apprehensive about some moments and what will happen when we do X, Y, and Z. But the complexities of our time did not overwhelm us. And you made a point in your question just now that I'm stuck on. What was the...
Did you ever waver from the path of non-violence?
Yes. No. We had challenges thrown at us that made us wonder if we were doing all the right things. When the movement became far more energized by extreme radical thought, the Black Panthers, violence, this soft walk is not taking us where we need to go. We had to be able to demonstrate that our choices were really the ones that carried moral imperative, that carried a far stronger potential for victory than those who came and said, let's blow up the place. A lot of those who wanted to blow up the place were friends of mine. We had to sit and have these really strong discussions, and we lost some to violence. But by and large, I think for what we were and the potential infinitely greater violence never came to the fore. The violence that defeated us was the murder of Bobby Kennedy and Medgar Evers and Dr. King. And until this moment, in a recent report from the Justice Department, there are still 2,000 people unidentified and unknown. We have no idea what happened to them. So we have a huge, there's a lot of mystery out here. A lot of the police institutions and the investigative institutions have begun to look more deeply into what happened to them. So maybe 20 or 30 years later, but we're looking. Justice will not go unmetted. But the violence that the many wanted was spelled out fully in Vietnam, spelled out fully in so many places, and you saw the folly in that belief, or those following those. Yes.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank you that you take time for us, for our young generation. And my question is related to nowadays. As a filmmaker and activist, every day in the morning I wake up in a society with a mindset of everybody thinking of themselves. Everybody is selfish. And my question is, when I switch on the TV now, today, for example, I see protests in New York, worldwide, London, everywhere. What advice would you, or can you give the young generation to change something? Because the young generation grow up in a society who may be tired of making changes, a society who may be always think of themselves and not think for other people. What advice would you give young people who like to change something but grow up in an environment who push down and don't give them that?
Become complacent or become accustomed to being downtrodden, I think.
Yes, that would be probably the proper English translation.
I got it.
Yeah, you got it.
I would say that probably the most important ingredient in what you're saying to me, or what you're asking, is there must come a point when you personally have got to stop behaving as a victim. Young people say, we get this, we get that, we can't this, we can't that. That's a component that I think is the first line of purging your obstacles. Stop being a victim. You're not a victim. You have power. And if you seek those who share your feelings on liberation, you'll find that you're far more numerous than you realize. That's part of what this film tried to do, is to show the enormity of the forces we had on our side to deal with this, and the power that we could use once we stopped being the victim to go out and bring those who resisted us to the table. When Bobby Kennedy was first made Attorney General, a lot of people saw it as a great doomsday. But Dr. King said your task is to go out and find his moral center and to win him to our cause. But that first thing meant you had to purge yourself from being a victim. There are those who would victimize you, but you can't let them beat you psychologically and emotionally. So whatever you plead as a young person today, just throw that away. It's no longer, should no longer be in your DNA. If you're an artist and you're a filmmaker, Paul Robeson once said something to me. Artists are the gatekeepers of truth. In us resides the only way in which civilizations are able to move forward, because we leave the history behind for people to draw upon. Whether you're a painter or a writer or a filmmaker, it is what you say. It's how you identify history. It's how you make it indelible that calls the attention of those who will read that history and feel inspired by it. The most powerful medium in the world today is film, just because of the power of the technology and how quickly you can do all the things catching the moment. Well, what an opportunity. I would go berserk if I was 16 again and had this before me. What a feast. I could get cholesterol crazy in a minute. But I think the first thing that we have to do is to say, I refuse to any longer be defined as a victim. I will stop defining myself that way. We are helpless. People are holding us from our destiny. And I think if you can do that, by looking at the examples that exist and can be used as instruments of inspiration, and you as an artist can begin to document that and to show the dynamic of that moment. That's all this film did, was to look at a set of dynamics that, when brought together and edited in a way, made a statement that continues to build, to build, to build, to build, until in the end, when I asked the question, where do we go now? Where do we go from here? What do we do? That was interesting to what happened with the audiences, and even in all the reviews we've gotten in America. I mean, there was an awakening in the world of journalism on this film. I had no idea that we were stepping into that kind of environment. You know, we did it. They want to critique it and say what they wanted to say, but I never expected that that much goodwill would have come our way, where people say that history is a model for where we must go now, and coming from the strangest places. So we got a lot of reward that we had not expected. What I'm wondering is the extent to which all this texting, Facebooks and stuff will make seeing this film one of the many things that should be in your agenda of causes. What will you say to your friends about this, and how will you encourage them to see it? That word of mouth is the most important thing for this film. And we're working now on our second film, energized by what we saw here. And it's called Another Night in the Free World. And it's taking a look at the global movement of young people and what they're doing and trying to document that. And certainly you've got a lot going on here in England. And where are you from?
Germany, from Munich.
Munich, yeah, Munich.
Have you been in Munich already?
Huh?
Have you been in Munich already?
Before you were born, I was
Yes, I think so too.
And I perform there quite often. I have a special synergy with Germany. My first visit to Germany was in the 1950s, early 1950s. eventually, as Germany emerged, and you had East and West, and debate and stuff, Germany was an exciting place in which to be. And the first non-American offer to visit the world was at the Berlin Film Festival this year. And I went berserk with the sense of plunder, and to get to that festival and to have the debate that emerged. I'm now on my way from here tomorrow to Viennese, to the film festival in Vienna. And a lot of my German friends are coming to Vienna to have this new dialogue and this new debate. But to the task at hand, I think those of you who have chosen to become filmmakers, the opportunities are so vast, whereas many of us had excuses about unable to find financing, or unable to get this and unable to get that. There's so many pieces of technology that makes you able to make a film that could have profound consequence. That doesn't have to go through a system that has been traditionally closed to us. The studios, television with their commercials and sponsors and all those things, which say to you, you can't go on the air, or you can't touch, or you can't this. All of that's in the dark ages. It's a new day. And I think that if I had any wish, it would be to be 18 again. Not for biological mischief, but for opportunity, to use all at my disposal. And the first thing I say is, if you are prone to be, stop. And if you have not yet arrived at that threshold, just don't become a victim. You're not. The only victimizing you get is from yourself. That's easily fixed.
Thank you.
Me? Cool.
Yes.
Me? I just wanted to say, like, by watching it, it makes me want to get involved. Like, makes me want to go out there and do my part and make a difference. But where you've had like opportunities that fell at your door, maybe because of the colour of your skin and what you was involved in, like, I wouldn't even know where to start. Like, I wouldn't know how to go out there and make a difference because I'm not involved in anything. So maybe some advice on what I could do. It's difficult because there are big movements that have happened. Like, say, there's not something that I'd be involved in, or it hasn't got across my path for me to go and do something. But I want to do something.
Well, I think the point is that the injustices are quite amorphous these days. They're not quite as specific as segregation or, I mean, the financial scandal is an example of that.
I would say the first step towards unraveling this thing that daunts you is to want to do something. A lot of people come to me and say, what can I do? And I say, what do you want to do? And if you want to do something, then the question is how best to engage it. I'll give you a little scenario. I'm standing in a room of people who are milling about. They're going in to see something, or have just seen something, and someone, oh, I'd love to do that. And I'd say, how much would you love to do it? And with everything in me, I just love to get involved. And they'll tell me, what do you do? Well, I'm a doctor. I say, oh, you're a doctor. And what field and what aspect of medicine are you in? Oh, I'm a dentist, or I'm whatever. And I will take that line of discussion and say, well, if you will go to the internet and look up doctors engaged in social action, you will find a list of things that fit your mold, that fit your expertise, that fit your choice and your ability. And when you look down that list, you can pick the speciality. Everybody has something out there that can fit their capability, or their passion, or their desire. If you plead me a culpa and say, I don't know where to begin and where to look, that's an innocent enough thought, and I can respect that. But then, sometimes it becomes the tool of the biggest escape from the responsibility of really doing something. Don't be innocent. Don't be a victim of the absence of information. It's out there more than you know. And in the United States, we have a movement, and there are other movements in the world that you can easily tap into. If you look in the internet, and you go to the web, and you look up Sing Your Song, themovie.com, you will see a window. And once you engage that window, it'll take you to many outlets fraught with information and how people can get engaged and involved to find out what we're doing and see where your environment fits. We've now begun to have a global outreach, where as the film shows in different places, people ask the same questions and hook each other up. And I think there's a lot that you can be serviced with if your request is genuine and if you're passionate to get involved and make change is upfront.
Yeah.
It's all quite doable.
Singthesong.com.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Harry, and no matter what problems I thought I had when I watched your film, forget it. I've been to many BFI screenings and Q&As and stuff. I'm interested in film and editing and stuff like that, and this has easily been probably the best one, and not from the technical side and meeting and networking and all that rubbish. It's like that film is so inspirational, and I will tell everybody about that film when I get home tonight. And I think that's the thing I'll take away from it, that if I'm struggling with my stuff, God knows how you manage to do your stuff. I'm in awe. That's basically it. So
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
That was a statement much desired. We hope we would hear that at the end of the trip, and you're giving it to us. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, absolutely agree with him. But I thought, when I saw the movie, because I was more interested in your private side, like children and family, and I was just surprised. How did you manage it to have balance in your life? Because family, and I just want to ask you for good advice to have a nice relationship. I mean,
yeah, give it to all of us.
Yeah, just give like a tip or something, because it's so difficult, especially in our age. And well, I just experienced, I'm half Russian, half German. I moved when I was a child. My parents moved to Germany, and I'm like, between now and the UK, there are mentalities, there are so many things, but still, it's relationship. It's all the same. So how did you find the balance? Because you are a celebrity.
Well, let me answer that by saying this. I am in large measure white because I have family that came from Holland and came from England, and my grandmother came from Scotland. And by the time everybody got through integrating and doing the naughties, we emerged. And I emerged with all that complexity of tribe and race, and a good mixture of Jewish, too, from Holland. And my father's father, who was a Jew, was an adventurer. I went to Africa during the early days of the discovery of the Gold Coast to seek to have his adventure, and failed miserably. Got on a boat and went to Panama and got a job building the canal, and left that and came to Jamaica and found a woman of his choice, and they united, and just forever the dimensions of tribal invasion and social integration was vast. So you're not unique. Just Russian and German is a tiny, tiny infusion, but it's a lethal cocktail. Yes, it is.